Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On our 74th Independence Day, I welcome you to an evening of poetry by Intercultural Poetry and Performance Library, Kolkata. In the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic situation, when we are locked down in our homes, poetry flows, and the voice of poets reach out, thanks to the internet and our virtual platforms. On the auspicious evening of India's independence, we have gathered here to We begin by showing our homage to our nation by playing the national anthem on the audio. Please put your audios on mute and feel the essence of your anthem in your respective places. Thank you. I invite Professor Poet Bashabi Fraser, the mind behind the formation of IPPL, our founder and ideator from Edinburgh, to inaugurate the program by her thoughts on independence.
I would like to first thank IPPL for organizing a poetry event to mark Indian Independence Day today. For me, the freedom of expression is very important. It marks a democratic recognition of a human right. So poetry can only take that forward through the rhythms of life that we reflect in our work. I would like to dedicate my own reading later on to Varavara Rao, who remains in prison with many other poets across the world. I will be reading a poem by another imprisoned poet who today is free. So for India, I wish compassion, the truth of humanity, for love and tolerance, and for unity in diversity. And may we all grow together in a state of mutual respect and with all our compatriots in India and with the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Bashabidi. I now invite our president, Professor Poet Sanjukta Dasgupta, who is a constant motivator, a storehouse of energy and ideas, and a leading light in our day-to-day IPPL affairs, to share her thoughts on this Independence Day evening.
Good evening, everyone. On 15th August 2020, on our Independence Day, we at IPPL pledge that we will strive to enable the free flow of verses and voices so that we can declare proudly that our nation India is where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free. We have to translate this into reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjukta Di. Now we go to our reading section. We have a lineup of eminent IPPL poets. We begin with our very own very young and talented poet Amit Shankar Shah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
You're
I'm
too soft.
read a poem. Yeah, hello. I'm going to read a poem which has just been published today in Freedom Raga anthology curated by
Amit, there's a problem. We can't hear you. We can't hear.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
now you're audible.
Yeah.
Poem is titled, What If We Name It Emancipation? Am I audible?
But
Could
we
every
listen.
There's a sound over there.
yeah?
There's
So
a disturbance.
could everyone
There's a
please
disturbance.
kindly put themselves on mute, except the
Does
person who's
Amit
speaking.
does Amit have two devices on in that room? Because that might give rise to this kind of problem.
Yeah, there is a laptop, but there is a PC, but it is far away. I am on a mobile. Hello.
It's
Hello.
making a raucous noise. Now it's better. Yeah.
The poem is titled, What If We Name It Emancipation? What if we name it emancipation and there is no partition? Will we be jailed for life without a single reason? Or will we have the freedom and not be tried for treason? Will our tryst with destiny grow old with the season? Will our independence then be a true sign of patriotism?
Bah,
This was my
very
poem.
good. Very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Madhu,
Madhu,
the host
mute.
is mute.
Sorry. Yes, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
We are going on with all these, technical hassles. Every day we have to overcome new ones. Anyway, our next poet is veteran poet Amanita Sen. We are now going to hear her verses flow freely in this Independence evening. Over to Amanita.
Thank you, IPPL, for this wonderful evening of poetry. Mine is a short one. It is titled Leaf. In this life, as a leaf on the water, the flow feels hurried, free, and pointedly unidirectional. Straight from the scene of Bisholok Darshan, where all beings head towards the dark of an open mouth of God, this journey is vacillating. With the unpredictability of the pull towards the end, what does the leaf say to the wishing lamp flowing next to it before they drown together? Would the wish come true? Thank you.
Thank you, Amanita. Very pertinent verses. Now we have our own Bashubidi, our ideator and founder, who's going to read her poem on Independence Day.
I'm actually going to read a poem by a poet friend of mine called Jack Mapanji. He's from Malawi, and for his book of Chameleons and Gods, he was imprisoned in McHugh prison for almost 4 years. This poem was written in prison, and just as Shangjukta said, we should live without fear. Jackma Panji, mercifully, is out of prison. So may we wish all prisoners of conscience to be released very soon, including Varavara Rao. This is called Skipping Without Ropes. I will skip without your rope, since you say I should not. I cannot borrow your son's skipping rope to exercise my limbs. I will skip without your rope, as you say. Even the lace I want will hang my neck until I die. I will create my own rope, my own hope, and skip without your rope. As you insist, I do not require to stretch my limbs, fixed by these fevers of your reeking sweat and your prison walls. I will skip with my forged hope. Watch me skip without your rope. Watch me skip with my hope. A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, I will, A7, I do, will skip, A10. 11, I will skip without, will skip within, and skip I do without your rope, but with my hope. And I will always skip your dull, you dull, will skip your silly rules, skip your filthy walls. You weevil pigeon peas, skip your scorpions, skip your excellency life, glory. I do, you don't, I can, you can't. I will, you won't, I see, you don't. I sweat, you don't. I will wipe my gluey brow, then wipe you at a stroke. I will wipe your horrid, stinking, vulgar prison rules. Will wipe you all, then hop about my cell, my home, the mountains, my globe as your sparrow hops about your prison yard. Without your hope, without your rope, I swear, I will skip without your rope. I declare I will have you take me to your showers, to bathe me where I can resist. This singing child you want me to shape. Declare, I will have you take me to your showers to bathe me where I can resist. This singing child, you want to shape me. I'll fight your rope, your rules, your hope, as your sparrow does under your supervision. Guards, take us for our shower. What Jack Mapanji told his fellow prisoners was, victory for you is first survival. Second, if you have the opportunity, tell your story. And that is what Jack Mapanji does. And that is what I wish for all poets to tell their story. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bashubedi. That was a very brave poem on the essence of freedom in the true sense. Even within an independent country, not all of us are really free, and you spoke on that note. Thank you so much for that. Over to our next poet, a very dear and eminent poet, Gopa Bhattacharya. Over to poet Gopa.
Okay, can you hear me, all of you? Madhu,
Yes.
can you hear me? Okay. So this poem I had actually written, keeping in mind Rabindranath Thakur's Jana Gana Mano and H.L.V. de Rosio's To India, My Native Land. And let's celebrate freedom with this poetry of mine during these difficult times. So it goes like this. To India, my motherland. O nation, in these days of the pandemic, you will decide your own academic. Kashmir to Kerala, Gujarat to Mizoram. Kashmir to Kerala, Gujarat to Mizoram, like migrating birds create power serums to follow what is best for us and mankind in general. Sanitization of soul and body will give us all an equal name. No temples. No temples, mosques, churches, no blame games. Let the death die like the death of a martyr, and the alive fight as silent freedom fighters. The minstrel shall weave a new garland of your successful drills in the name of a warrior country full of strength, unity, and wishes to be fulfilled. Let the country awaken to a new dawn, worshipped as a deity you will. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gopa, for this wonderful poem. Now over to our next poet, a very old veteran poet, Gopal Lahiri. Gopal Da, we are eager to hear your poem.
Thank you, Madhu. My poem, first of all, Happy Independence Day to everybody. My poem title is My Freedom. Now that the wind surrenders, the oppressive skies go to hiding, the enemy's hand weakens, lies do not exist anymore. Those hungry children filling the canvas come out in the open under the new sunlight. In my world, the landscape and the farmland that has been held back for years and kept secret is now free. All the hidden alphabets of life slip out of the dust and haze, erasing those scared faces, those empty eyes. I want to stand on my tiptoes and ready to play around. More leaves, more green forest, more beds of fresh grass. Flocks of birds get larger over the hearths and fields of corn. The flowers blossom in quietude. I will never live in that world that carries bloodstain and bullet holes under the sleeves. Child on the chest and listen to mother's song that drifts her towards the rest. I love to see that refuge, that sanctuary. The hum lives on, persist and persist, simmering in color and rhythm. Colors are alluring. The memories swirl, smiles, connect each other. I want to have the only thing that counts, freedom, freedom from fear. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopala. That was a take on many ends. You also spoke about the freedom of nature, which actually man has imprisoned. Thank you so much for this wonderful poem. Now over to our next poet, a very young poet, very promising young poet of IPPL, Jemima Nasreen. Over to Jemima.
Good evening, all. First of all, wish you all a very happy Independence Day. Today, I will read Tagore's poem, which is very relevant in our present world. And for me, to be free is to be fearless. And I believe if we stand together fearless, we can create harmony, unity, and hope. So, Freedom by Rabindranath Tagore. Freedom from fear is the freedom I claim for you, my motherland. Freedom from the burden of the ages, bending your head, trekking your back, blinding your eyes to the beckoning call of the future. Freedom from the shackles of slumber wherewith you fasten yourself in night stillness. Mistrusting the star that speaks of truth's adventurous paths. Freedom from the anarchy of destiny. Whole cells are weakly yielded to the blind, uncertain winds. And the helm to a hand, ever rigid and cold as death. Freedom from the insult of dwelling in a puppet's world, where movements are started through brainless wires, repeated through mindless habits, where figures wait with patience and obedience for the master of show, to be stirred into a mimicry of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Jemima, for this very good, nice poem. We'll move over to our next poet, a very serious poet, our own Professor Jharna Shandal. Jharna ji, where are you? Yeah.
happy Independence Day to all of you. And Madhu, thank you for the compliments. So my poem is in Bangla. স্বাধীনতা দিবস জামিনে ওরা হেঁটেছিল মুঠোতে সূর্য স্বাধীনতা ফাঁসির দড়িতে স্বপ্ন মাখানো স্বাধীনতা ওরা হেঁটেছিল কাটা তার বেড়া কান্নায় রক্তে অপমানে অভিমানে ভেজা পথ পার হয়ে প্রিয় নদী প্রিয় গাছ সব কিছু ফেলে দিয়ে নতুন আশ্রয়ে স্বাধীনতা কথা ছিল আলোর স্রোতে ভাসবে শঙ্খচিল পলাশের রঙে লাল হবে মাটি রক্তে কখনো নয় সোনালী ফসল চিনে নেবে খিদে পাওয়া যত ঘর অবাধ নদীতে অবাধ কণ্ঠে জীবনের জয়গান স্বাধীনতা স্বাধীনতা এলো চড়ে গুড়ি গাড়ি উন্নয়নের ঘোড়ার খুঁড়ে উড়িয়ে ধুলোর ঝড় বানভাসী বুড়ি স্বাধীনতা চেটে খায় কাটা জীবগুলো নিষিদ্ধ কথার আগুনেতে ঝলসায় স্বাধীনতা ফোটে না জ্বলা উনুনে পান্তার খোঁজে নুন 13 বছরের স্বাধীনতা হাঁটে তেলেঙ্গানা থেকে কোনো এক বীরভূম ধর্ষিত হয় স্বাধীনতা মন্দির মরুভূমি দেবতা তাদের দলে স্বাধীনতা জামিনী গাঢ় অন্ধকার পেঁচারা ইঁদুর ধরে বাদুরে নষ্ট শস্যের ভরা ক্ষেত কথার খেলাপ হয়েছে কখনো কে যেন প্রশ্ন করে ভিখিরি বালিকা ভাগ করে খায় খিদের অন্নটুকু কুকুরের সাথে ভালোবেসে ভালোবাসা আছে অনন্ত নীলে ভালোবাসা ভাসে গর্ভ মেঘে স্বাধীনতা এসো খালি পায়ে হেঁটে তৃষ্ণার জল দিতে থ্যাংক ইউ
ওয়ান্ডারফুল ঝর্ণাদি মাতৃভাষার বন্দনা মাতৃভাষাতেই সত্যি করেই হওয়া উচিত সেটা আপনি করলেন but we have chosen English because it is a whatever we might say colonial uncolonial it is still a medium of communication for Indians till we find maybe another alternative which is acceptable to all. Okay, on this note, over to our next poet. I think she's reading for a first time. Mongola Gauri Chakraborty. Mongola Di. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. I was expecting somebody with a K and then somebody with an L and then, me. But before I start, I just want to say, I think sometimes, I just lose heart in thinking that I can even write poetry because, when I heard the poem Bashubi read out, and there was so much pain, I mean, you need to feel that much to be able to write like that. So anyway, I've been feeling very, heavy a number of days because, it doesn't seem very happy today, a happy occasion. And I wrote 3 poems actually, and the first 2 were so dark. So then I realized there has to be some hope. So, I hope this kind of fits the bill. So I begin here. It's called All the Voices. All the voices rose up, singing. Then the image froze. Dots and dashes blurred the picture, and angry rants arose. We made contact over our phones. Then the network failed. We tried so hard to reach each other, but our efforts got derailed. Our nation is now 73. Too old, you'd think, for strife. I pray that wisdom soon prevails and our networks come to life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mongola Gauri Di. It was really serious and, worth taking a note. So over to our next poet, Madhumita Majumdar. Has she come? Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, Madhumita.
Hello?
I can't see.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, okay.
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you so much. Happy
Audible and
Independence Day.
visible.
Yes.
Thank you. A very happy Independence Day to everyone. This year, I was particularly, I think we're all disturbed by the pandemic. And of course, with the Amphan happening, I was thinking, what would Independence Day actually mean to people trapped in this life post Amphan? My tribute to them. My poem is titled The Storm, a Good Omen. Phone update, televised warning, radio calling, storm lashed, the date kept, speed recorded, house crumbled, trees uprooted, Facebook update, Twitter raised. Trapped between half a house and no home, wise Shibu spoke of hope. Wait for aid, the storm is a good omen. Food would come, tarpaulin in colors. We will survive the hunger and rain. Truck loaded, goodies packed in lots, a scented soap, photos clicked, thin arms, collarbones sticking up, shredded clothes, pinned and tied, storms choreographed, dance of ravaging wind, national news, skin over bones, wide green, by the collapsed embankment, a thin voice trailed. The storm's a good omen, harbinger of food and some help. A bright orange packet dropped and caught. The roof above was now a little orange, by the way, with wrecked green around and the sunlight peeking through. Life was now a big white canvas. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Madhuri. It was a wonderful poem. From here, I hand over the mic virtually to my co-moderator, Joey Bose, to moderate the next portion of reading. Over to Joey.
Thank you so much. It's funny that you call me moderator, for I'm anything but moderate in my expression or being. So before we begin with our next bit, I would like to just let everyone know that we missed out Jaguri, who was not here earlier, and she has joined us. So from the previous section. So could we have Jaguri reading for us now?
Yes, of course.
So over to you, Jaguri. She reads lovely. She has a lovely voice, and she has recently come out with her new book of poems. So, Jaguri.
Thank you so much, Joey. Am I audible? Okay. Thank you so much, Joey, for the glowing introduction. I don't think anybody else got such a glowing introduction and all. I have a very short poem called Goddess. It is a feminist poem which is a tribute to Margaret Atwood. So, Goddess, after Margaret Atwood. You think I'm not a goddess, wet and salty my skin, far from a peach. My years have rolled out of your reach. To you, I will give an orange cotton scarf scented with jasmine. You will know my youth then, how the fruit was sweet and flowers perfumed. Mind you, I won't allow the bones to be exhumed. A scarf is all you get. You think I'm not a goddess yet? Think again. I'm every woman with a hidden palimpsest of scars like tattoos covering every inch of where it hurts. Call me, yes, call me anything by any name. Only remember, I am a goddess still. I will not be tamed. Thank you.
That was very powerful, Jaguri.
Yeah,
Yes,
I will
it was.
interrupt in between a bit. Before Joey goes on to ask others to read, I will invite Joey to read her poem on independence.
Thank you so much. So today, to commemorate the 74th Independence Day. I would be reading. So I have started I really feel for Varavara Rao, and thanks to Bashu Bidi for bringing him up today earlier. And I will be reading a poem called Flowers for Varavara Rao by an Irish poet called Gabriel Rosenstock. I send you invisible flowers, Varavara Rao, to perfume yourself and bring a smile to your lips that I will not see. They may not last very long, a few simple roses, Varavara Rao, to perfume yourself. They may need some watering, your jailers. They have tears, invisible tears. You know fully well it's not their fault. This goes all the way to the top. Simple roses, Varavara Rao, to perfume yourself, invisible. Prime Minister Modi, sniff the air. What is the scent of freedom? Thank you. And
Beautiful.
And I would also like to share with you a wonderful piece of news that a book I edited called The Freedom Raga, it got released today. And a lot of us here have written for it. There were many more. We had got more than 200 submissions, but we picked 74 most relevant. And this book has been dedicated to Varavara Rao. If possible, do get a copy and spread the news. Thank you. And with that, we'll just move over to our next poet for the evening, someone who's, well, honey, Madhu Srivastav, over to you.
Joey,
Madhu,
I'll read later. I'll read sometime later.
Okay. Okay. And next person we have is Navamalati Chakraborty. Navamalati, are you here?
I'm there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, you're audible. You're audible.
Okay. Happy Independence Day to everyone here. I'll like to read my poem, and my poem is slightly longer than the others. I name it Our Communion for Freedom. My verse is for freedom. My voice speaks of liberty and bring to your life a joyful vibrancy with a special mixture of faith, denying darkness of days, all within our heartbeat. No new meaningful slogan now reach our very ears. We cannot trap the wind as it was before the 74th year. The blood of our brothers on the pages of history and the angst that they suffered need now to be brewed with courage and eloquent focus. Neither do a Nazrul thunder now, nor a Rabindranath sing gloriously to lead us on our way. Have we all grown stoic to thus cringe and remain all quiet? Or is it a way to lambast with either a downward or an upward thrust, where earlier the tricolor was our pride as a symbol of resolute joy and deliberation? The sons of the freedom battle had fought relentlessly in a hunger strike and brave slogans raised, though they were kicked, beaten, scourged, and jailed. But they were brave. They were brave. If today we aren't their progeny, why do we not hear their echoes? The echo of their brave voices, those voices unitedly saying, preserve our land, preserve our land. Alas, Another Jallianwala Bagh is made of us in a raging, suffocating impulse, where the ghost of dire loom about to watch and defile and categorize us as human beings. This is half-life, spent in half-life, in a half-tone and in half-breathing. We scale up walls to escape. We scale up walls to escape, jump down wells to save ourselves. Do you not hear their persistent screams? And don't you hear now our silence? Didn't you see how they ran to escape? Do you see how we are now trying to escape? Where is that Swaraj that Indians fought for? Have we lost it, quarreling among ourselves? Do we not hear them cry, Vande Mataram, and all the Janagan singing all together? Respect all to respect yourself. Respect all to respect yourself. There lies the mantra of freedom. Once again, shall we not hail their martyred spirits to light on our soul, our entire identity as children of Bharat. Once again, be proud, be resilient. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Navamalati. That was amazing. And we had, and Mandakini rightly said that we do need to ask these questions and remind ourselves of what freedom is and what freedom means. And with that, we ask the same question to Pranab Ghosh, who will be reading out next and letting us know what is important to him through his poem. Pranab. Pranab, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I've unmuted myself, and the title of my poem is The Spirit of Freedom. The spirit soars beyond drudgery, beyond death. The spirit soars beyond shortcomings, beyond failed dreams. The spirit soars beyond poverty, beyond hunger. The spirit soars beyond malnutrition, beyond lack of education. The spirit soars beyond all that hold us back. Into the world of freedom, where free speech, free education, free healthcare rule the roost. Into a democratic, free universe, where man handholds man to survive. Let the spirit soar beyond lies and into the truth. Let the spirit soar beyond darkness and into the light. Let the spirit soar. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Pranab. And with that, we take the spirit on from you to somebody who's actually showing the spirit in her clothes, which is Rituparna. Rituparna, are you ready with your poem?
Yeah, hi, Joy. Thank you for a spirited introduction. Happy Independence Day. Happy 74th Independence Day to all of us. And it's great to meet here, all the real people on a virtual platform after a very long time. Let us all be safe. Let us all be secured indoors and outdoors when sometimes we require it. Happy freedom to all of us. It's all about freedom. A bird, never meant to be caged. Her wings are wings of fire. She is valiant. She is fierce. Sky is not her limit. Her heart is full of stars. A mother, she holds the universe. Her soul is widespread galaxy. Her waterhead is immaculate. Unstoppable she is. A force boundless. Her cotton mind is unburdened. Her health knows no ailment. She is beauty, unparalleled. Her stomach never cries in hunger. Her brain is agile leaves of spring. a face of intensity. She is the giver. Her voice echoes nothing but truth. The child in her never dies. She makes the world go round and round. She is inner peace. He is outlet from dusky night, window to relief of morrow. She is the purest form of life. She is freedom, sans sorrow. Thank you, Joey. Thanks all of you for listening.
That was lovely. We did see a glimpse of freedom through your verse. And from our next poet is Rajoshi Narayan Potranobish, someone who has been reading poems every day on Facebook ever since the lockdown. We really look forward to hearing your voice.
Well, good evening. Good evening. Am I audible, please?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
One second, this request is to someone who has his or her thing unmuted. Please mute yourself so that
anytime 8:30 পরে দিদি
8:30 পরে যে বলছেন আপনি একটু মিউট করুন, রাজশ্রী একটু পড়বে। Rajashri.
Okay. The title of this poem is Independence. I have a very strong feeling that we somehow mix up independence and freedom. Is our independence and freedom synonymous? Well, the title of my poem is Independence. Lost myself in deep myriads. Lost myself in deep myriads. Oceanic waves, lures of substantiations. Found myself in deep mysteries, skied clouds, surrenders of virginity. Found myself in deep mysteries, skied clouds, surrenders of virginity. Chained myself in deep emotions. Chained myself in deep emotions, hearted clairvoyance, breakages of freedom. Flew into obliviousness, independence of freedom, independence of freedom. Thank you. Over to you, Joy.
Lovely. I love the refrain, independence of freedom. And you really raised a lovely question with that. And our next poet for the day is Shaptarshi Mollik. Shaptarshi, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but I don't think we can. Oh, yes, there you are.
Yes. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Happy Independence Day. The poem which I am reading is entitled Words. Words stumble out in incessant rush, eager to reach out, care or sting. Each word spoken, a kinetic force, each word withheld, a potential bomb. Words congealed, dormant behind, silent, sealed lips, eyes spy, words well up in their eyes. Arms, fingers, hands, and feet are word banks too. Bridges of power, forging bonds, intimacy of signifiers and signified. Body crumbles, ashes fly, words live on. Words colonize memory, tease thought, expressions mind monitored, cautious, thoughtful, effusive, thought-free, creating, destroying at the drop of a word. This is by Professor Sangjukta Dasgupta, and it's from our first collection of poems, Snapshots.
Wow, that was lovely. It was lovely, Shaptarshi, the way you read it and your choice of poem. And it's lovely that you read her poem for the next poet in focus. is Shanjuktadi. So over to you, Shanjuktadi, the person whose poem was read. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. And I did not ask Shaptashi to read this poem of mine.
Yeah, but he was very
Yes,
kind and
ma'am.
his choice
Ma'am
was
did not ask.
amazing.
No,
I
yeah.
felt
Otherwise, I feel a little embarrassed. But I'm happy that you read it, Shaptashi, and it sounded much better than what I thought it was. Anyway, so the poem I will read today is titled "Gagged," and as Rajoshi I think, very disturbingly made this difference between independence and freedom, like we do in our classes, that independence and freedom, duto ek shabdo noy, they are not synonymous. So yes, we need to critique both when we use them. So my poem is titled "Gagged," and I'm just going to read it. It's a sort of a narrative poem. Seeing the sun rise, a song rose in his heart. A tune parted his lips, but he could not sing. He could not speak. Tears streamed from his hurt eyes as he stood voiceless, silent, gagged. His eyes tried to speak. His arms were raised like a crucified Christ. But unlike Christ, he could not even solicit forgiveness for those who erred in their ignorance. His voice was stifled, silenced, gagged. His parched lips parted, forming soundless words. He was capable of bites, but he hadn't learned to bite. Were there words as wake-up call for the old men in bulletproof suits? Guarded cars, guarded offices. Why were they so terrified if they loved everyone, he wondered. His innocence was not bliss. He had dreamt he could change the world. He had sung the song of resistance. He had sung the song against oppression. But the song, gagged, stifled, unheard, died in his heart with him. As they prepared his body for the last journey, his mouth fell open. From the parted lips, they pulled out endless ribbons of tape that had strangled his vocal cords and gagged his mouth and squeezed out his life. His fault was, of course, that he had dared to dream, that he had dared to be different, that he had dared to challenge those who were petrified by those like him. The angry old men in large houses and large cars were hunters with shrewd eyes and deadly guns. The hunters gloated over their gagged birds in cages, wrenched the necks of the captive silent birds. The hunters wore a garland of severed tongues. The angry old men in large houses and large cars were hunters with shrewd eyes and deadly guns. They shot dead the singing birds in the sky. Thank you.
Wow, that was so powerful, Shanjuktadi. It was very moving, and now we move over to the man behind Uncut Poetry, Sunil Bhandari, who's the first person from our Eastern India to have come out with a poetry podcast, which is actually breaking all records. So over to you, Sunil.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can all hear your wonderful voice.
Super. Thank you so much. Don't raise expectations, Joey. I'll fall flat. Doom. Okay. So I stay in this complex, and I was walking for the flag hoisting, and we have this lovely walking path. And I saw birds, and I saw snails cutting the path, and there were flowers falling. And I thought, what did they think of independence? So I thought I'll have a conversation with them. So here's the conversation which I had with all of these. There's a breeze which has sprung up in this sweltering morning. All snails are out. The birds hold conferences. There's a flag to reckon with. There is a song to be sung. Someone to extol our freedoms, to remind us that we could still protest. I confer with the snails and the birds. Include those fallen flowers too, says the breeze. And we wonder whether we should talk of love first or dismay. But this is the way we find the truth, said the snail. I walk slowly across a path and see who pauses to help me across. I think the fallen flower opined, everybody needs to find their freedom themselves. I floated through the air because the breeze found me weak, but I need not think revenge. I still throw my perfume into the heart of the breeze itself. But how quickly we give what's of us, declared a quiet bird. There is nothing which is precious, which can be taken away if we don't grow complacent about it. And I had the breeze in my hair and a honeysuckle stem full of nectar to suck. And I lay on a field strewn with Queen Anne's lace, thinking of what I thought. I knew of no other freedom apart from this, to be where I wanted, to kiss untampered grass, a poet's call to arms. Freedom was finally found with just a taste in the mouth. What felt bitter? What felt right? What felt bitter? What felt right? Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
The poem really did feel very right.
Thank you so much.
And we now move over to Mrs. Shampa Chakraborty, who spells her name with a Vertty, the colonial spelling.
নমস্কার, আমি রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুরের ভারত তীর্থ কবিতাটা পড়ছি। হেমর চিত্ত পূর্ণ তীর্থে জাগরে ধীরে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। হেথায় দাঁড়ায় দুবাহু বাড়ায় নমি নর দেবতারে, উদার ছন্দে পরমানন্দে বন্দন করি তারে। ধ্যান গম্ভীর এই যে ভূধর, নদী জপমালা ধৃত প্রান্তর, হেথায় নিত্য হের পবিত্র ধরিত্রীরে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। কেহ নাহি জানে কার আহ্বানে কত মানুষের ধারা, দুর্বার স্রোতে এলো কোথা হতে সমুদ্রে হলো হারা। হেথায় আর্য, হেথা অনার্য, হেথায় দ্রাবিড় চীন, শক হুন দল পাঠান মোগল এক দেহে হলো লীন। পশ্চিমে আজি খুলিয়াছে দ্বার, সেথা হতে সবে আনে উপহার। দিবে আর নিবে, মিলাবে মিলিবে, যাবে না ফিরে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। রণধারা বাহি জয়গান গাহি উন্মাদ কলরবে, ভেদি মরুপথ গিরি পর্বত যারা এসেছিল সবে, তারা মোর মাঝে সবাই বিরাজে, কেহ নহে নহে দূর, আমার শুনিতে রয়েছে ধ্বনিতে তার বিচিত্র সুর। হে রুদ্র বীণা বাজো বাজো বাজো, ঘৃণা করি দূরে আছে যারা আজও, বন্ধন আসিবে তারাও আসিবে, দাঁড়াবে ভিড়ে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। হেথা একদিন বিরামবিহীন মহাঙ্কার ধ্বনি, হৃদয়তন্ত্রে একের মন্ত্রে উঠেছিল রণরণী। তপস্যা বলে একের অনলে বহুরে আহুতি দিয়া, বিভেদ ভুলিল জাগায় তুলিল একটি বিরাট হিয়া। সেই সাধনার সে আরাধনার যজ্ঞশালার হলো আজি দ্বার, হেথায় সবারে মিলিবারে হবে মিলিবারে আনত শিরে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। সেই হোমানলে হেরো আজি জলে দুঃখে, হেরো আজি জলে দুঃখের রক্ত শিখা, হবে তা সহিতে মর্মে দহিতে আছে সে ভাগ্যে লিখা। এ দুঃখ বহন করো মোর মন, শোনরে একের ডাক, যত লাজ ভয় করো করো জয়, অপমান দূরে যাক। দুঃসহ ব্যথা হয়ে অবসান, জন্ম লবিবে কি বিশাল প্রাণ, পোহায় রজনী জাগিছে জননী বিপুল নীড়ে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। এসো হে আর্য, এসো অনার্য, হিন্দু মুসলমান, এসো এসো আজ তুমি ইংরাজ, এসো এসো খ্রিস্টান, এসো ব্রাহ্মণ সূচি করি মন, ধরো হাত সবাকার, এসো হে পতিত হোক অপনীত সব অপমান ভার। মার অভিষেকে এসো এসো তরা, মঙ্গল ঘট হয়নি যে ভরা, সবার পরশে পবিত্র করা তীর্থ নীরে, আজি ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে।
সম্পাদি, it was beautiful. খুব vivid images ছিল, আর সবার এটা প্রত্যেক ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স ডে তে বা কে স্পেশালি ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স ডে তে এই কবিতা অনেকেও অনেক সময় শুনেছে, আর এই পার্টিকুলার কবিতাটার সঙ্গে অনেক মেমোরিজ আর অ্যাটাচড। সো এটা খুব প্রিয় ছিল। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ সম্পাদি। আর তোমার থেকে এখন we will move over to somebody who is into visual poetry, who is into body poetry. We move over to Sufia Khatun.
Love everyone. And it's a great endeavor, Joey, and everyone. After seeing you after a long time, I'm sorry. I just suddenly I'm like feeling a bout of fever. I've been struggling by the last 10 days, so my hands are shaking at the moment. But give me some time. I'm going to read the poem, and I will begin by reading a translation of Varavara Rao's poem Supernova that has been translated by Rohit in English, and I have translated it in Urdu. So of course, when Joey read it, so I felt like reading that first, and then one of my poems. As long as we have this space to, without being afraid to say what you want to, I think for me, freedom signifies that. So the Supernova, it's called Azim Nu Tare Ki Tabahi. So I just need that. जैसे सूरज या चांद की रोशनी जमीन को भर देते हैं, कितने सितारों का तज़किरा अंधेरा छुपाता है, कितने रोशनी के आशे फरार होते हैं अंधेरों के आतों से, कितने नहरे मुनव्वर शिकार हुए कहकशा के आरजुओं का। सितारे की तबाही कहानी, सितारे की तबाही की कहानी को लाखों नूरी साल सफर करके हम तक पहुंचना होगा, और हाल में और उस सितारे की जगह पे जो तवील अरसा मर गया है, हम बस नुखैज सितारे को पैदा होते देखते हैं. So this is the poem called Supernova by Varavara Rao, and we all are standing by his side. My poem is called Love. I hope I can do this. Another poem, Joey.
Yes, that was a very beautiful and powerful poem and well chosen. Would it be fine if we first went through with everyone who's been invited to read? So we are, and then of course, if we have some time, we'll come back to you. So it was very beautiful and well chosen. And Get well soon, Suti. So
Thank you.
we'll next move over to Mrs. Shantashri Chaudhary. Are you here, Mrs. Chaudhary? Madhu, could you help me? And because I'm unable to see, is Mrs. Chaudhary here?
I can't see Shantashri D too.
Yeah, nor
Okay.
can
Okay, she's here with us in spirit, and we'll come back to her. And now we move over to Tanya, Tanya Chakravarti.
Happy Independence Day. When my mother said that she wanted to read Bharat Tirtho, I also thought that I would also read Robindranath today. And then I started looking for translations of Robindranath. But then I told myself, as a Bengali, why should I read a translated poem of Robindranath? So after thinking for quite a while, I came across a poem which is titled Gora's Rebirth. It is by poet and academic Sanjukta Dasgupta. Of course, she's our IPPL president. I taught Gora for a while, and I thought that, well, today would be perfect for spreading the message that Tagore wanted to convey through Gora. Gora's rebirth. Ma, you are my real mother, the orphan youth exclaimed, as he felt free at last. A surrogate son, liberated forever from the maze and myopia of pride and prejudice, icons and idols. Unfettered Gora at last stood tall. He felt weightless, like a feather, riding a wind chariot on an azure autumn day. He had no mother, no father, no country, no caste, no name, no family, no gotra, no deity. All those self-inflicted taboos became irrelevant as Gora was reborn. When he said he would drink water brought in by the untouchable Lakshmiya, Ma, please send your Lakshmiya now. Ask her to fetch me some water. Anandamoyi smiled. It was strange that the simple truth she had known so well and had practiced lifelong to realize the same truth, Gora took such a laborious route. At last, Gora sensed Lakshmiya and the rarefied Lakshmi are indivisibly bound. Sorry for lisping. Unchanged from limiting scriptures, Gora was born again in a pristine world of unfettered knowledge, where the mind is fearless. This time he chanted without inhibition the magic mantra of limitless freedom. Thank you and Jai Hind.
That was amazingly beautiful. You are indeed like your mother, beautiful orators. And and Sanjukta Di, really thank you for writing that beautiful poem, which actually brings out the essence of personal freedom. And with that, we move on to our second last poet for the day, Uma Ray Srinivasan. Do we have Uma with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Are my audio and video working?
Yes. It wasn't, but now it is.
Okay.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Okay. On the 74th anniversary of India's independence, while I would love to celebrate our freedom, I also want to express my puzzlements and apprehensions on one India versus many Indias in the voice and language of a very small boy with whom I completely identify myself. This issue has especially come to the fore with the pandemic and the agony of the migrant workers. And the poem is called The Boy from Gangoli. Gangoli is a place, a small village in Uttar Pradesh. The 8-year-old was perched on his father's shoulder. The sun was hot. It even melted the boulder. The boy asked, "Why do they call us migrants, Dad?" He replied, "Because, you see, we migrated, lad." "But Dad, where did we migrate from? And tell me why?" "My lad, we migrated from village," said he with a sigh. "But what does migration mean? I don't understand. Does that mean to travel afar to a foreign land? For you said years ago, we came from UP's Gangoli. How come, Dad, that Gangoli is so far from Delhi? And must we go back to Gangoli you left behind? A new school, new friends to play with me? I must now go find. We are Indians, united, taught our teacher to us. Did COVID change our geography and its status? The sun above and these doubts within my head, they make me tired and thirsty and all exhausted. Put me down, my dad. Give me water. I wish I slept. This migration back to Gangoli, I hate. He wept and he wept and he wept. Thank you.
Excellent.
Wow. It was very, very, very poignant, and thank you for sharing that with us. And and our last poet for the day is Madhu Srivastava.
Thank you, Joey. My poem is titled Freedom. Freedom. 73 years of freedom. Freedom from bonded rule. Oppressors gone, we are left on our own. They left a bloody cleavage in the motherland. Barbed wires separated inseparable bonds. Wires have cut deep. Blood still oozes. Utopian dreams of Hind Swaraj, of a land where we can hold our heads high and speak without fear. Alas, it is yet to be. Invisible chains bind us. Indescribable barricades stop our paths. Monsters in all guise surround us. Yet we live, love, and strive to be free. Our unborn girls stifle at the state of their suffering sisters. Abuse, rape, acid attack stalking. Our women are great achievers in all fields, though education has changed but little of patriarchal minds. The authority to control, dictate, own women's lives throttles the life out of them. A century is round the corner. May we walk together hand in hand towards an inclusive world where dignity be the right of every Indian, whatever religion, caste, class, gender. May education and opportunities bridge widening gaps that gape at callousness of our systems. May my country be born free again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madhu, for that lovely poem. And we will now ask Sufia, who wanted to read her own poem, to please read.
Thank you. Everyone's poem is like really amazing, and I feel it's always nice to hear everyone, and it's like
Is it just me, or has she suddenly just gone still?
I think she's frozen. I think her internet is not working.
Yeah, I think her network is
Okay.
something. Yeah.
No, now
I'm
I think there's some movement.
Yeah.
She's live again.
Okay, okay, good. So it's called Love on the Grainy Religion of Tongues. Rehem Farma Parvardigar leaves my mouth in between sighs of fear. Ammi carefully adds salt to a jar of lemon to preserve the taste of a language lost in conflict. Love on the grainy religion of tongues drifts in the noise. Everything else is just dust wrapped around border-lined bodies, while the pigeons kiss and make love over skyscrapers built on bloodshed. Man eats man, countries devour land and its people. Your longing for release is the passive voice of hate, neatly arranged in the idea of a supreme God. The fakir on the street, witnessing the tremors, is confused. It's easy to find blood on hands and a name to blame it all on. Hate has a face and a motive unlike love. It finds abundance to thrive in the psyche of violence and somewhere in you. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Sophia.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone. And with that, we've come to the end of the session for the day. And I would really like to thank Shongita for being our support, as Madhu rightly said, for helping us arrange this meeting and everything. I would like to thank, on behalf of IPPL, all the wonderful poets who read their beautiful poems and
Joey, please be on screen.
What do you mean?
Joey, you are not on screen. Come on screen.
I am on screen.
No, Joey is on screen.
Is it?
Maybe you just can't see me.
Yeah. Joey, continue.
Yes. So
you need to do a duo for him.
Pardon?
A duo. D-U-O. You know, the video ones. Then he will.
Right. So I would especially like to thank poets who not only read their own works, but who actually chose works of other poets, because it is very important that we all uphold not only our own voices, but stand up for that of the others. And that's the essence of what freedom of speech means to me. And that is something that's very important right now in this day and time. And well, that's it. Thank you, everyone. And happy Independence Day. Madhu, would you like to add a few words?
Thank you, Joey, for all your cooperation and for beautifully conducting this session. And on my side, also, I would like to thank Bashubidi, Shanjukta ma'am, and all our beautiful poets. And I personally, I have learned a lot after coming to IPPL. I'm very happy to be here, and I hope we go on conducting such sessions. We don't want the pandemic and the lockdown to continue, but anyhow, we have found out a way to connect and let our voices and our verses flow. So happy reading and a happy Independence Day to all of us. With this, we end. Does anyone want to say something more, ma'am, or do we end?
Yes, unless somebody wants to make some observation or very quickly read a poem.
Yeah, please, if anyone
In
wants
fact, cheers to the coordinators.
So the coordinators, why don't you all read a poem each and then we close?
In fact, I see Ipsita commenting, though I can't see her. So she's someone who writes voraciously. Ipsita, are you here by any chance? Would you like to read?
Silence.
Okay,
silence is not
Sound of
eloquent.
silence.
Any other observations or comments about the program? Or we will end with your permission.
Do you have other programs in mind this month, Madhu?
Yeah, we do have, but I think this is not the place to discuss. We will end.
We can just go, we can stop the live and continue the. Oh, Ipsita is here, she says.
Does she want to read?
Ipsita, do you want to read?
Oh, she said her phone is playing truant today.
She is having some issues with the phone.
Right.
I would just like to say one thing. I've just joined and you were all just names to me. And it's so great to put a face to those names. So I'm glad this event came along.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we would like to have you over for future readings too. That's what IPPL is all about. On this note, we can see Ipshita now.
I can't see her. But yes.
I don't know, she's muted.
Ipshita's muted.
I'm trying to unmute her.
Madhu and Joey have been working.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I've unmuted you, Ipshita.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Bandhu. Hi, Joey. Good to finally kind of get connected, but it's been very difficult. My phone's just, I think I got to buy a new phone before I get on with the rest of the stuff. So I was managing to hear everybody. Wonderful program conducted. And definitely thank you this time, Madhu, for reaching out. It meant the world to me. And we'll definitely connect in the future and read some more and be connected. But great session, and Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Joey, big hug to you, of course, as always.
I think on this note, we can end now. We have got some very kind words, very encouraging words from our poet friends. So, Jai Hind and
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
And thank you, coordinators. You are excellent.
Thank
you.
Thanks to
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
coordinators and the team IPPL. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful coordination program. Madhu and Joey, both of you, and all the participants. Every poem, each and every poem was wonderful. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
I think Pranobda has raised his hand. He wants to say something. Pranobda, are you eager to say something?
Unmute yourself then.
Unmute
you have muted yourself.
I've unmuted, yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
It was a wonderful evening and wonderful experience. So thanks a lot, because in this period when we are so very exhausted because just of the confinement that we're suffering from, this was a wonderful experience. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pranobda. I think we are full of each other and poetry, a very good feeling. With this, we would like to end the program today. So, happy Independence Day to all of you. Be safe. And we pray that very soon we'll be able to meet each other physically. May that day come. Till then, hold on, be safe. We'll all be fine and we'll meet each other very soon. With this belief, I end the program. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Jeffrey. Bye.
Bye.